The kingdom of Thornspire was a realm of stone castles, lush forests and towering mountains that kissed the sky. It had stood proudly for centuries, its people thriving beneath the rule of wise kings. But now, a shadow loomed over its borders, a terror whispered of in taverns and council chambers alike. The beast, Morvath the Sorrowed, had come from the cursed forest of Sorrowveil, and wherever it went it left desolation in its wake. The first attacks were swift and brutal. Villages on the edge of the kingdom were razed, their survivors speaking of a creature so vast that it blotted out the moon. Eyes like molten gold, horns black as night, and claws that could tear stone from the earth. Yet what struck fear deeper than its size was the beast's wailing cries, sorrowful, as if its heart had been broken long ago. Sir Keelam Ravenshade stood on the battlements of Thornspire Keep, staring out into the distant mist-covered mountains of Sorrowveil. The wind carried with it the scent of pine and the faintest echoes of the monster's mournful roar. He clenched his fist around the hilt of his sword, a blade that had once belonged to his elder brother, Gideon. Gideon would not have hesitated. Keelam muttered, his brow furrowing as doubt gnawed at him. Gideon had been the kingdom's greatest knight, but he had fallen in the last great battle against Thornspire's enemies. Now the mantle of protector had passed to Keelam, and though he was brave, he had never shaken the feeling that he walked in his brother's shadow. The council had made their decision that morning. Keelam would be sent to confront Morvath and put an end to its reign of terror. But the task felt impossibly heavy. How could one man defeat such a creature? A beast born of darkness and sorrow. The path to Sorrowveil was long and fraught with dangers of its own. The deeper Keelam ventured into the ancient woods, the thicker the air grew, heavy with the weight of old curses. It was said that the forest had once been home to a kingdom of its own, long lost to time. Some whispered that Morvath was the last remnant of that forgotten era, a guardian-turned-monster, twisted by centuries of grief. As Keelam pressed on, the trees seemed to lean inward, their branches clawing at the sky, blocking out the sun. The sound of his footsteps on the forest floor echoed unnaturally, as though the land itself was listening, waiting. Suddenly, a low rumbling growl rolled through the woods. The ground trembled. Keelam stopped, his hand instinctively reaching for his sword. From the shadows ahead, two golden eyes appeared, burning through the mist like distant lanterns. Slowly, the immense form of Morvath emerged from the darkness. The beast towered over Keelam, its skin a patchwork of cracked stone and twisted roots. Horns spiraled from its head like jagged mountains, and its maw was lined with teeth the size of daggers. Yet, despite its monstrous form, there was something in the creature's eyes that gave Keelam pause, something broken. Morvath bared its fangs and let out a roar, but it was not a roar of anger. It was a wail of despair, a sound that tore through the air like the cries of a grieving soul. Keelam raised his sword, but something in him faltered. "Why do you suffer, beast?" Keelam asked, his voice steady but filled with pity. "What grief haunts you?" The creature's eyes flickered. It did not speak in words, but in Keelam's mind, a voice like a distant storm whispered. "Cursed, bound to this form, this fate. Long ago I was the protector of a great kingdom, a champion like you. But my kingdom fell to ruin, and my heart was broken. The curse binds me still, to walk this world in sorrow, unable to rest." Keelam felt a pang of understanding. He too had lost something precious. He had lost his brother, and in that loss, a part of himself. "Is there no way to free you?" Keelam asked, lowering his sword slightly. "No way to break the curse?" Morvath's eyes dimmed. "Only the bloodline of those who cursed me may undo it, but they are long gone and I am left to wander, driven by grief and rage." The pieces fell into place for Keelam. Sorrowveil had once been a rival kingdom, destroyed by Thornspire long ago. This creature had been a knight like him, cursed by the ancient kings of Thornspire in their greed and conquest. His heart ached for the beast, for the loss of its kingdom and its endless torment. Keelam made his decision. He sheathed his sword and approached Morvath, his heart no longer filled with the desire to slay, but to offer peace. "Then let me free you," he said. "Let me end your suffering." The beast regarded him with tired, sorrowful eyes, and for the first time in centuries, Morvath bowed its head.